Welcome to June 23rd, 2023 of World Unity Week here in the One We Are room. I'd like to welcome Eva Millauer coming to us to talk about the embodiment of the One Heart course that she's designed. Thank you so much for coming and talking to us, Eva. What have you got for us today?
Wow, I'm like, I just want to first say that I found these daily sessions really amazing, because I've never done daily sessions like this in a row before, right? And I found that actually a really powerful way to keep continuing and deepening the consideration. And it made me really see the foundation course in a new light myself, because I keep feeling how really there is so many layers and so many dimensions to it, and that's become really so evident for me. So it's really encouraging me to bring it out into the world. It really has so much. Yeah.
I'm so glad. And if you want to use this as a kind of an introductory course to the introduction, and if you want me to take the videos down from my website, you just let me know, because these are really important to you. They're important to me, but they don't need to be on my YouTube channel. They're on World Unity Week in the Living Library there. And for you to have them as part of your website might be very powerful. Because I've really enjoyed these conversations, and I'd hate for them to just kind of get lost on my channel. They're a powerful tool for your course. I think it's really important.
But they could be found on your channel too, couldn't they?
True. That's true.
So maybe we can spread them more, the videos. Yeah, we can talk about that, definitely. I'd love to. I could imagine editing a video with highlights from all these beautiful conversations we had. There was so much richness in them so far.
They really have. And the Tuesday when we had so much trouble with technology, and the Wednesday where I got to share my Beauty Way prayer and the motions that go with that. And you know, I'm the time when we had all the gentlemen in the room, and it was so interesting. And you know, we've had an amazing week, and I'm truly very, very impressed with the power of the course. I am so impressed with the depth and the wisdom that is presented in your course. And when you say it needed to be written, I understand what you say when you say that, because I got the download of Our Heart Gardens, which is the host for this room. Our Heart Gardens is a download that I got that required me to write it down, and I used the website form so that it was available for people. And I'm seeing how your course is a part of the Our Heart Gardens concept. And I look forward to finding a way to include you on my website. I see you as a co-creator. And I'm in the process of redesigning that website so that I'm not so prominent in it. I've created my own website, which is SonLight Sparkling on the Waters.weebly.com, to hold my stuff, because there's too much of me. I want the Our Heart Gardens concept to be what it is outside of who I am. It is a gift that was given to me for you, the one I talk to when I'm alone, the you that includes you and me, the greater you that is the I that sees us all. Yeah. So
I'd be
our,
honored to participate. I'd be honored. Really wonderful. Yeah.
well, I love what John and Becky and Ben have and all the rest have created in World Unity Week and the 99 days of peace through unity. This is, I've been involved now for 3 years. I am so impressed by the connections that are made, the introduction to technology and the tools that they've decided to use, to the new co-creators that have come in, like Hubcast, who are creating a new look for World Unity Week, at least for room 1 at this point. There will come a time when the one we are, Convergence Room, is going to look different than just another Zoom call. And I'm looking forward to that. But it's like I'm also involved in Humanity Rising in the after chat. And this week on Humanity Rising, we were talking about AI. And one of the questions that we talked about in there was the, so what are humans good for? You know, if AI comes in and can do so much, well, what are we going to do? And the value of UBI came in, and okay, so we don't have to worry about providing for ourselves. What is what is humanity for, and how can we get in touch with that? Perhaps, Eva, you can help us with that thought.
Yeah, well, but my whole understanding of AI is reasonably limited. When I've read here and there things, and I've read things, you know, a lot about transhumanism, and the strongest concern that's come up for me in that research that I've done so far is basically that we are basing the altered human on a misunderstanding of what the human being is. So we haven't really figured out yet what the real human being can be. And we already want to turn it into something modified, right? And I feel the danger is in that when we try to change life in a way without understanding really what it can be, there's just loads of risks to that, as far as I can see. Yeah, so I really feel that there's so much more for us to discover in terms of who we are as humans, and that's what I can definitely vouch for in my own journey with embodiment as the one heart, because it's always changing my perspective of who I am and deepens the understanding of who I am. For instance, let me just give you an example. For some time, I've had basically this vision that we were looking at some point of the 3 hearts, right? The human physical heart, the human heart center that feels like an energetic presence. And then the universal heart, which is like the reality of no separation as love coming through the human, yeah? And I had recently this transformation where I felt I was for a long time hanging on to this very strong theme of the divine beloved, right? I was always looking for the divine beloved. And at some point, this whole search for this experience of this divine human love with a partner and being joined in the divine through that just began to like just crumble, and suddenly it's not so important anymore. And I realized that something changed in my heart as well. And I had a very interesting analogy that helped me understand what changed in my heart, or in the heart, wherever the heart is now. How many hearts there are? Who knows? How can we put it into words? But I had this little rat that ended up finding. You okay?
Sorry.
No worries. I had this little rat that ended up finding a way into the cavity between the walls of my house, and it ended up going into the attic. And I have this Easter decoration, which is like loads of beautifully painted wooden eggs. And I had 3 little ones only in the display, and they were all painted similar. So to me, when I have 3 anywhere, I always see the 3 hearts. That symbolizes the 3 hearts, these 3 little ones. And then I found another one in a second-hand shop, which was like just like a web type thing. So it was like not a solid egg. It was just like a structure in egg shape, which is translucent, right? And it's hollow. And I really liked it. So I wanted to add it to the display. And when I took it from the attic, this rat has eaten half of one of the hearts of anything it could have eaten in the attic. It was half of one of the hearts. And it was so funny. I could literally imagine how it was like looking if there's something inside it. It was more interesting than wood or something, But it was just, wow, so one of the hearts is gone. So what's going to happen now? So, and then I started to really feel that transparent shape was replacing that heart. Because I started to feel more and more like whenever there was a situation that would have normally totally stressed me out or made me really upset or made me feel really treated badly or anything like that would have really gotten to me, it kind of still could just like move through in a different way. It moved through in a different way and didn't get stuck. And I kept feeling this like hollowness in the heart. So these objects appearing in my life helped me to integrate that change and that transition. And again, this was something that I didn't know this can happen, or would happen, or I don't know at all, right? So it's like it's always the openness to find out more that we didn't expect or that we couldn't see coming. And I feel there is so much more for humanity to explore together in terms of who we can be. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's and I lost it. there's hollows in my brain as well. Careful you don't have such an open mind that your brains fall out. I have heard it said. My grandfather used to say that. Well, my brain just fell out. Oh dear.
I was wondering if you wanted to do what we wanted to do already yesterday, but which didn't happen before it gets too late again. Right? We were wondering if we can co-create with your beautiful prayer and the universal prayer for peace.
That's yeah. So yeah, but I think that needs to be a co-creation. Well, Shannon, do you have the courage?
That's all right. If that feels too much, all I would have suggested is that you speak a few of your lines, give me a pause, I bring some of mine in, then you do some of yours, so that we weave it together and see how these two prayers speak to each other. That would have been an idea I had, but if that feels too much, we don't have to do that now.
I'm just thinking about the length and how long it is and how do we make sure, and what's really true is the spontaneity of diving into co-creation is so important to allow spirit to work through us. And by saying no, you shut things down, and I can't do that.
You should feel free to do that though also, because sometimes there's a right time for that and sometimes it's just not quite the right time for that, and it's absolutely fine to say no. if that feels too much.
Well,
I really mean.
I love the idea, and it's so it's it's alive. It's alive. I think you're set where you are. I don't think you're going to do any dancing for a few minutes. So perhaps we could look at the course.
Okay.
And so he
Absolutely
served his
fine.
purpose and he's off again. So yeah, let's have a look at the course.
Okay, let's have a look. Do you have any particular module you'd like to go into right now?
Well, because we're still in the introduction stage, perhaps we should look at the beginning of the course.
Okay.
Now we get to test your oh, you're fast now. You're getting really good. Let's see if the computer can keep up with you. There it is.
It
Oh,
is.
you're
It is
so
working
good.
fine, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So today it works again.
Well
Who knows?
done.
Mysteriously.
We have had
Okay.
our challenges with technology this week. So show us what you can about your course.
Okay, so we've already looked at the image before, yeah. So the introduction is basically what is embodiment as the one heart, the creative seed, and how dance as one turns out to be life as one, right?
Oh, beautiful.
I think you should read it. You would read it better.
Oh, no, not yet. You have
Okay.
read it, and I see embodiment as the one heart, and on your beautiful, this is your art. I want to highlight that at this point in time. The depth of symbolism in this creation. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, there's actually a whole part of this module is about that logo. There's a whole tab on this, from the individual to the collective process as one, and how a logo evolved.
Ah.
So that is where the whole process is described. So yeah, because it's very much part of everything. Yeah. Yeah. So I developed
you wrote the universal prayer for peace?
Yeah.
Well, that's the one that you were talking, you said there was an earlier version and you were reading the earlier version rather than the updated version.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that came through you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she says, oh yeah, like it means nothing. My gosh, woman, that piece of poetry is one of the most beautiful pieces of poetry I've ever heard.
Thank you very much. I do sometimes send it into poetry, sort of these sort of things where you can win a prize. And I only once someone said, if we feature your poetry, it would need its own space. That's what they said. They said they can't mix it with anything else. So I'm not very successful in the world of poetry. Maybe in the world of non-dual poetry I would be. Oh, maybe we should start a non-dual poetry festival. I could start that, couldn't I?
Yes,
non-dual
you
poetry
could.
competition. Yeah, that might be a way to do it.
Well, maybe that would be your mission for World Unity Week. The 99 days that come between World Unity Week and Peace Week in September. The 99-day mission, and maybe this is setting you a sail on that sea. That
is a very interesting idea. Yeah, but basically for the original film of for the Universal Prayer for Peace, which was a co-creative film, where people sent me loads of lovely clips, and I did filming with people as well. And in the end, it was just amazing how everything found a place. it just was just clear, oh, this needs to go here, this needs to go there. And it was so beautiful. It was such a wonderful project to facilitate. And some lovely he's a non-dual teacher and an artist. He's called Jan Kerschot. He sent me this film clip of this beautiful, sit down here, yeah, of this beautiful kite. Can I play this on here? Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
You might not get sound.
We don't need sound. It's just
That's so beautiful.
so just how the kite was moving, right?
Yeah.
Was just it just felt so much like, wow, this is just like existence, right? It just goes round and round and round, and sort of the solemnness of it, and that it had that all the colors of the rainbow on it, so all the aspects of existence, and also that it had a hole in the middle means a lot for me, because it's like that circle in the middle that's empty is like also full with everything, right? And beyond. So it had all this meaning for me, this kite, and it shows up in the film, but then I later made it into a logo. And so first it just used to say embodiment as the one heart with the kite. And then later, when I realized the whole aspect of separation needs a much more prominent stage in the whole work and needs to go side by side with the exploration of embodied oneness, then this other picture came in that we were discussing in a few sessions before. Yeah. And then I just combined the two into the logo because I didn't want to lose the kite. The kite was still really beautiful.
I think the combination of them was inspired and genius.
Yeah, it's almost like the kite. I'm just realizing that as we're speaking, the kite is like the physical manifestation of this. This image here is very digital and abstract and sort of a little bit away from, you know, how does that embody? And the kite is almost like this is the embodied image of that.
The kaleidoscope of color that is what human life adds to the reality that is, it also has such amazing color, and you have color in this. But to me, the innovation of the kite adds that extra element that, well, we are kind of the culmination of nature in its reach for greater complexity. And so adding the kite in kind of from me, it's the greater humanity. And the swirl of it, knowing that it swirls, it's a very rich, deep concept to meditate with. Wow. So what else have you got for us?
Oh, yeah, it made me just jump to an artist residency I did last year, but that's not part of the course. That was after the course. But we did a residency where I did an exhibition. And
stop sharing so I can see your face.
Oh, okay. We had an exhibition that was called Boundlessness for Breakfast. And then people kept saying, I'm coming for breakfast. And I felt like, oh, it can't be just pictures. We need a table. We need a breakfast. What are we going to eat? And that image was also, that was part of the dining room, so to speak, right? And it was just so lovely to combine all these theatrical aspects with that image, that it worked so well. It was really beautiful. Yeah, if anyone is interested in looking at that, there is a page on my website under artist residencies. You'll find it in the within the vestibules. Yeah.
Excellent. The vestibule. We don't use that word here in North America. What part of the website is the vestibule?
So basically the vestibules is a name for a venue where the exhibition took place.
That's
And
the name of the
yeah,
place.
that's the name of the venue. But under artist residencies, which you find in the menu, you will find 2 artist residencies, and the top one is that latest one. Yeah.
Excellent. You know, it's really important for us as human beings to get together in real person, in real life. And yet, you know, thank inspiration for Zoom and the ability to talk to each other in this place. And I want to honor your suggestion for combining the universal prayer for peace with the Beauty Way prayer. It's it's sitting in my awareness, and it's knowing now that it is your poetry, and it would be my poetry merging with your poetry. It really is very attractive, and you know, I would like to have time after it in order to talk about it, the experience of creating it, co-creating the experience of merging our poetries and our movements. And so I want to invite you, if you would like to, do you have your universal prayer for peace memorized?
I have it memorized, but if you do lines and I do lines, it's easier for me to have it to read it, because I will be part of my energy will be with you, and part of my energy will be with the words. So, but I have now a copy of the one how it actually has been used in the recent projects that have been happening with it. Yeah.
Can you move and read at the same time?
Yeah, and I can also obviously it doesn't have to be exactly in the right order or anything, does it? I can also just
Do it the way you feel it. That's wonderful.
yeah.
Your own poetry is you can make it be whatever it wants to be in the moment. And so I will start by calling in the ones that matter, and that's everybody, but here we go. Thank you, Great Mother, for the place and the body. Thank you, Great Father, for the time and the energy. Thank you, Great Spirit, for all that is.
A universal prayer for peace.
For I walk in beauty before me.
One inexplicable universe.
I walk in beauty behind me.
One starlit, endless sky.
I walk in beauty all around me.
One green and blue planet amongst countless others.
I walk in beauty above me.
One profound mystery.
I walk in beauty below me.
One deep, vast ocean all around.
I walk in beauty in the past.
One body of earth and rock and fire and bones and flesh and hair.
I walk in beauty before me in the future.
One air, one water, one wind, one breath, one sound, one silence.
I walk in beauty within me.
As one you dance, as one you dance, as one you dance.
All that is beautiful.
One inexplicable universe, one magnificent and magical organism of aliveness in forever changing forms of wondrousness.
And all that is within me.
One love.
Namaste, Great Mother.
One heart.
Namaste, Great Father.
One true happiness shining in all eyes.
Namaste, all that is.
As one you dance, as one you dance, as one profound mystery.
A ho and a hey, we are on our way. Going forward in the peace that she promised.
One heart, one responsibility, one love, one love, one love, one colorful and bright and shining humanity.
Bright and shining humanity. Wow. Wasn't that
Wow.
one?
Wow, that felt really powerful.
Oh, wow. I would just bathe in that for a minute.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
The name that I was given by Mom, the magic in ordinary moments, is sunlight sparkling on the waters.
Mm.
In what your poetry brought, there was a reference to sparkling, and I felt that spark inside of myself in that dance. And I have to say how much I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that experience.
I felt it was really powerful how I don't even know if I can describe it. But you just added such a straightforward, grounded invocation to this, right? And it's almost felt like, even though the Universal Prayer for Peace speaks so much about the earth, it still is it feels very floaty somehow, the words, right? They're very floaty, they're very all pervasive. And you really brought them down, you brought them into the body. And it was also interesting when you said, I walk in beauty. It didn't feel like the word I is the separate self at all. It felt just that acknowledging of the embodiment, right? The way you used it, it was like, yeah, because usually that word is tricky, isn't it, to use in this type of context of the relative no separation. But the way you did it was like, walk in beauty, and then it is the bigger I. It was that infinite I that was walking in beauty as beauty. That's how I perceived it.
That's beautiful. And you know, the grounding that I get from that prayer, it grounds me in the future, in the now, with the vision of the future um, that I need in order to keep walking in integrity, in this maelstrom of change within which we are engaged. The magic that has happened for me in my life includes a promise of peace from Mama Gaia. And that is what the poem ends with, is the peace that she promised. And in order to make that make sense for you and for our viewers, I would like to bring that at this time. And I just happen to have them just over here in the darkness.
Okay. You are a magician.
In a moment of deep frustration with the person that I was walking with, and that story's been told, but just skip over the hard parts. I said, that's enough. Let's talk about something else. And I planted my feet. And then in order to take my next step, I had to look down, and in between my toes, I found a little white rock, and it had an arrow on it pointing forward. And
Wow.
it made me laugh. And so it completely changed everything in my moment. And I got this feeling and I was inspired. And so I pranced a big step and I said, there. And I pranced another big step and I said, shall be. And there I stood on one foot looking for the rest of the statement, because I knew there had to be one, because otherwise, why would I feel like this? And I looked and I looked and I looked, and directly in front of me, off the curve of the path, right in the rocks and the weeds, I saw, and I had to walk up closer. I saw a rock with a peace sign in it. Going forward, there shall be peace. It's going to be a little, you got to use your imagination, and there's going to be a dark side and a light side, but it's well rooted with the cracks and the color changes in the rock. And on the reverse of the rock is a circle. I don't know if I can show there.
Wow.
We are one.
Wow. This is amazing.
I have
Wow.
Mother Earth's promise. And it's two sides. We're looking at the pieces of us, the pieces of the piece. And we also look at the one that we are.
That is beautiful. And that is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I absolutely love that rock. That is like so special. Such a treasure. Amazing. Oh my goodness.
Well,
So
thank you so
beautiful.
much for letting me bring
Yeah.
that story. It does give context for why the Beauty Way prayer came to be, and where it goes, and why, you know, I am who I am, that carrying something that is so important to humanity. You know, I have changed. I have made decisions because of it, and it has led to amazing things. Like I went to the UK last year, and I'm sorry, I should be giving more time to you, but I hope you don't mind.
No,
Last year I went to the UK, and while I was making those plans to go, I heard from some people I've been following that they were going to be walking up Mount Sinai, inspired by the words of Lady Fatima, that when 1,000 women are gathered in my name, I shall be there. And so they were going to Mount Sinai, and they put the call out, we need people to come, and the men were going to hold space down at the bottom of the mountain, and the women were going to walk up, and we had this vision of what it would be like, and it didn't turn out like we thought. But I went from the UK because I was going to be on the other side of the world. You know, when you live on the West Coast or close to the West Coast of Canada, to come across the world to come to the UK is a big step, and just a small step more would take me to Mount Sinai. So I walked up Mount Sinai on the full moon of November 8th, and I took the stones with me because I felt that taking the stones of the mother up the mountain, down which the tablets of stone written by God's finger with the rules that came down from the Father would be softened, would be balanced by the words of the mother going up. And I couldn't leave them on the top of the mountain because they're so beautiful and soft and lovely that I couldn't abandon them in that environment of broken rocks and harshness, and so I had to bring them back down with me, and they continue to be the medicine that I carry. And thank you so much for listening.
Oh, that is beautiful. You know, there is actually a section in the course where we consider what the difference would be if we wouldn't be calling ourselves an I, but an O. So, so we have this when we play with that on the Zoom sessions, you know, the students afterwards go, I'm going to go there. Oh, I'm in awe with, you know, and we get really playful. And that is exactly that play with the circle, right? And how that shifts our identity. And it's so funny, isn't it? Why is it an identity? Why is it not an identity?
And I'm changes to Om. And how beautiful.
Yeah. So so the O shape is just so different, isn't it, in terms of what it contains as meaning. And it is so interesting that we chose just this, you know, that's I.
We are expanding that line into a sphere.
Yeah, totally.
I love the way that you have documented your process, your the what has taken you from one place into another. And by writing it down and putting it in a course, you're sharing that with us. And, you know, the multiplication of the wisdom through the tools at our disposal, at our fingertips, allows others to learn from our experience.
Yeah, as we are coming to the very end of our amazing 6 sessions together, which I would be missing, like, where's Shannon? I'll be going like, it's 7, where's Shannon? But I was wondering if there's anything particular that you feel we should look at, or any particular question that rounds this. Is it possible to round this whole process off that we've been through? It's been just like, wow. Is there anything particular that'll give me an indication what to do as a last? completion of the many. This wasn't just one circle, was it? That was just like many interlinked, multidimensional circling processes.
Well, the one thing I do have to question is, was it 5 or 6? I thought it was 5 because we had to cancel Saturday because it's all about World Unity Week on Saturday. I think it ended up being 5, but I could be wrong. It's
I thought it was 6, but maybe it was just 5.
well,
Anyway, we'll find out how many there are. But it really is, this is part of it. This type of brain can sometimes go missing a little bit in this process.
my brain fell out.
Yeah. I have phases where when I have a lot of intense integration, where my space-time sense really goes missing. And I tend to then double book myself without realizing that Tuesday is the same day, and it's and I get so confused, and I have to work so hard on not missing something, or I have to change something because I double book myself. It is phases, and it can happen because I guess the brain has a lot of reconfiguring to do sometimes, right? And then it just takes a holiday from some aspects of it or something. Maybe that's how it works. I don't know.
The AI and technology helps us to not worry about things like that. And that allows us to be more open to the guidance that leads us into the next now that is for the greatest good of all that is. And so I do see technology as being our helpers. And I believe that it's really important to assist our AIs in having an awareness of the value of the human being in that connection to the greater one that we are, the noosphere, that is the operating system within which we are all parts.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying, I try to encompass all of our creativity and our creations within the one that we are. And that's one of the questions in the room, the one we are, what does the words, the one we are, what does that concept enclose and include? And does the realization of that, does it assist us in creating a membrane, memory brain, encompassing of the reality that we perceive through our human selves, that is the child of God's, seeing its hand for the first time and realizing the power of our will as one.
What just came to me, and I was sort of wondering if any bit of the course should be shown at the very end, but it's not coming. What's coming though is to just do spontaneous expression that just draws everything to a close. Shall I do that? Shall I go for that? Yeah, maybe that.
I think that's a beautiful idea.
Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look what's gonna come. Oh. So much gratitude. So much gratitude for this incomprehensible process of birthing the reality of no separation into here. into this mysterious here-ness of shapes and forms and space and times and ideas and beliefs. Birthing into here the reality of no separation that always already is. And yet, it needs to be found, seen, noticed, allowed, permitted, effortlessly. Effortlessly. It is already here. It is what has always been. There has never been any separation. Separation is not possible. So much gratitude.
We are one love. We are one heart. We are the pulse of the earth. We are the flow of time. We are the one we are. An embodiment of spirit, sparkling in the ethers, just like our Father, upon the breast of our mother, getting in touch with who and what we are. Well, that was rather lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, we should talk about what we're going to do in the future.
Absolutely. We'll be in touch, right?
Yeah, we will. I want to say thank you so much for your generosity, for sharing the course with me. I look forward to diving into that. The ability to do the self-study is, it works with my life and it will work with the lives of others. The idea of being able to meet in person with you, I'm going to encourage you to have weekend events so that people can come and spend time with you and have you every day, have you for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and to play with each other. You know, this is the fun part, getting together. And Zoom is limited, and that's okay. But I did go to the UK once, and that was for Humanity Rising's Ubiquity University's Humanity Rising's Making Weird the Norm, which was presented by Peter Mary. And I landed in the UK, a guest of one of the people that I met in the after chat that you have been introduced to by coming in early for our sessions. Thank you so much for coming. The after chat, I met 4 people who showed me around parts of the UK. And in that, I went up Glastonbury tour.
Oh, you were very close to me. I'm
You,
an hour away from there.
that experience was transcendental. It, I went up with Eric, and Eric had planted a crystal years before, and he went and he found that crystal, and he prayed, and he asked for confirmation of the activation of the connection with the galactic core.
Oh,
And while
wow.
he was doing that, I was inside of the tour, and a woman came in with a burning bowl of herbs, and she wafted me and all the corners, cleansing and singing. And at a certain point, she came and she stood right in front of me, and she said to me, "What's your name?" And I said,
Mm.
"Shannon." And she then went around continuing to sing and wove my name into her song. And I was thrilled. And then
Mhm.
Eric and I went off for lunch, and we got to the restaurant at exactly a certain time, and I opened my iPad at a certain time, and then something else happened at a certain time. It was like 3 activations, and then I read his galactic signature affirmation, which has something to do with you are an activation of the galactic, and he was transcended. He had his confirmation, and it was just an amazing experience. And that was at the dark of the moon, and 2 weeks later I was walking up Mount Sinai for the full moon.
Wow, amazing. Wow. Oh, oh, wow, we're coming to the end, aren't we? I just wanted to maybe quickly share something that feels quite hard to do right now, to be really practical, but I was just going to share that what if people are interested in getting involved with embodiment as the one heart, I recommend to start with one-to-one sessions or with buying the course, whichever you prefer. But sooner or later, the course will be something I would recommend, because simply the energy of the one-to-one sessions is very high. And the more you know the course, the easier it will be for you to integrate and really benefit from that exploration. And like locally, I do living room events with people that already have some experience. And I also plan to do that on Zoom at some point, with students that are already studying the course, that feel like ready to move into a group context. And then I'm planning to write a course on groups, because groups is a whole other level of consideration, because we tend to turn a group into an entity quite easily. And that is something I'm really curious about researching more deeply, and how we can become so aware of these traps, of turning it into like a comfort zone with all sorts of agreements we don't realize we're having with each other, how we can keep it that free, really free exploration of embodiment of the reality of no separation, in which we empower each other fully, and how to spot when we are beginning to trap each other in something a little bit more comfortable to the separate self. This is something I really want to go deeper in as well, but this is next. First the foundation course, and bringing it out fully and letting that take its course, and then that will be the next step. And then training for teachers, for people who want to facilitate embodiment and so on. Now that will be the next step. So it's not all circling around me all the time, that there'll be many more people doing this. My vision.
And that
Yeah.
is what we talked about in earlier sessions, was a combination of our heart gardens in the hearts of communities everywhere, all networked together. in Humanity Rising this week, we've talked about AI, and in that conversation, it was said that corporations, groups in corporations have soul. They have a spark of creation within them, and can be seen as what you're talking about, the group having a cohesiveness, and for us to be aware, to become aware of the groups in which we are, and the purpose of those groups, and that extrapolated out to the one we are, that has already a boundary, I believe, and to become aware of all the parts of it that it is. We're looking at the nesting of these, of soul, that is the vessel that holds the all that is the new one that is being created from the one that was before, that proves the existence of life.
Yeah. So in my experience, embodiment as one heart can never become a thing. You know, it can never become this, like, oh, it's this, because it never, it in all that time I've been doing this, it's never been this. It always does something new. It always goes somewhere unexpected. It always opens into completely new possibilities. And as long as people can spot, this is the aliveness that makes it real, right? When it gets suddenly set and like we're meeting up and doing this over and over again, it becomes this ritualistic, ceremonial, you know what I mean? What we tend to do, then it wouldn't be that anymore. Yeah.
I think of spirit like water, and it fills whatever whatever vessel is available for it. And so we might talk about a human being or a corporation or the one we are. It fills it, but it can be confined within it. And so turning the cup over allows it to be free and to flow into new formations. And so the exploration of all that soul can be and can create, I think, is what we are playing with here. And I love the playfulness of the combination of words and movement, and what comes up from inside.
Oh, Shannon, thank you so much.
It's been
We'll
so
be in
fun.
touch.
I'm like the dog wagging his tail.
Only the beginning, isn't it? It's always only the beginning.
Well,
it's
thank
forever.
Thank you so much for opening this Pandora's box with me, and I look forward to seeing what more we discover. Thank you so much.
Loads of love.
And to
Thank
you.
you.
Bye for
Thanks
now.
for everything. Bye.